Hi everyone! In this video I am revisiting oil pastels. I haven't used these in a while, and since the last time I did a video using oil pastels, I have got a new set of the Lightwish artist quality pastels, and these are super duper creamy like lipstick, similar to Sennelier. So I need to practice with these a little bit because they are definitely, I would say, a little harder to use, only because it's literally like painting with lipstick. So there's not as much precision and it's just a little harder to work with. So yeah. And that is another reason why I decided to try to paint with these today, because I realized that I had really been trying to use oil pastel in a more precise way and trying to embrace this medium for what it can do, which a lot of people love about it, and that is the texture and the non-precise results that you get with this type of painting utensil. I don't even know. I interchange those two terms when I'm using oil pastel because, you know, you have it in your hand and you're drawing, but you are drawing with paint. So I was watching a video by Black Bean CMS. If you guys don't know who he is, he's like a master oil pastel artist, and he does a lot of portraiture that is like abstract realism. So he used to paint in realism, and then he went like full on other direction, and his stuff is just so unique. It has this kind of Van Gogh, Picasso, not Van Gogh, but more Picasso type quality to it, with the way that he distorts his subjects and the colors that he uses. Although it doesn't really look like Picasso paintings per se, but that's just what I think of when I look at his stuff. And yeah, it kind of inspired me to pull out my pastels and do a portrait and really try to embrace the inherent qualities of oil pastels and trying to just let go of that whole, you know, it has to be more precise, and doing it this way kind of gives me more freedom and less stress to, you know, not try to see it so well either, which I don't know why I'm fighting with that all the time. You know, I really should just try to explore the many different alternatives of using art in the ways that are more comfortable to me. But it just comes from that, you know, that background of really liking graphic art and all the precision and all the lines, and really, you know, really loving that bold contrast of sharpness and clarity. But this type of pastel that I'm using today, the Lightwish, it's so creamy that you really can't do anything just but let it do its thing. And I know people really say that a lot about watercolor. You just got to kind of let it do its thing. But yeah, I think oil pastel is very similar in that way. Oh, before I forget, I did an interview with my friend Freaky Mom on her channel, and she uploaded it today. I will put the information down in the comments if you guys are interested. So I wasn't too familiar with the colors in this set. I did start out using my Montmartre oil pastels when I first started, and I laid down the initial guidelines, or not really guidelines, but you know, my little starting points, my anchors. I wanted those to remain stable when I started to paint on top of it with the more softer oil pastel. So I started out with that, and the colors in the Light Wish set are a lot more muted, and they're really pretty. I mean, they kind of remind me of makeup colors, you know, like you wouldn't wear full-on red, orange, yellow, blue, green, you know, rainbow color makeup. And the reason I like using colors like that, though, is because I can tell which ones they are, especially if there's a certain order. But these are, yeah, they more lend themselves to the type of palette you would see if you were doing makeup. And in that respect, I mean, you kind of can't go wrong when you're picking the colors, as long as you know if they're in the cool or warm category. So you can basically grab any cool color for a shadow and any warm color for, you know, the warmth of the cheeks and the lips and stuff. But I didn't really use any white until near the end, when I really wanted to bring it together, and I didn't blend as much as I would normally do, especially when I use the white. The white, I just kind of like let it, you know, sit in patches and dabs in a more textured way for the highlights and stuff. So you'll see me going back and forth with the blending tools. I'm really just using the silicone tipped tools. They have like little different tips on them. Some are pointed, some are more flat and rounded, depending on what I'm blending. And then I have a paper blending stump that's got a little bit more of a point on it, and it can more or less like really rub the pastel into the paper and even pick up some of the paint, where the silicone tools just kind of move it around. They don't really pick anything up. So, and of course, when in doubt, use your fingers. It's actually pretty satisfying because the stuff's so soft. It's the only thing I can compare it to is lipstick. It is that creamy. So yeah, well, we can play the color game in the comments if you guys want to tell me what color her hair is. I'm pretty sure I started out with a dark brown just to map it out, and then I went in with, I think, like a plumish purple for the darks, or I mean for the main body of the hair color, and then I went in with this, I think it's a dark blue or like a dark charcoal, I don't even know, but to give it a little bit more shadow and depth, which I then kind of used as some of my more shadowy colors. I dragged it around after I got some on my finger. I just kind of went around the sides of her face and her neck and stuff to try to add a little bit more shadow. And with that, what I assume to be a very pale Naples yellow type of light skin tone. So it got a little dirty here for a second, and then, I really love that X-Acto knife for going in and picking up and scraping out, kind of getting the paper texture back, and then you can go back over it. Yeah, for the highlights in the hair, I kept forgetting that I'm not doing watercolor, so just leaving it white from the white of the paper is just something I'm used to doing because I paint in watercolor so much. But in the end here, I go and fill that in with some white and try to unify it a little bit more. I mostly tried to blend the nose bridge and the eyelid creases and things like that, and maybe around the jawline and stuff. Those lines I didn't want to be so harsh, so I did kind of try to blend those a little bit, and if I lost them, then I went back in. And sometimes the glare from my light will make it seem like things aren't dark enough because it's kind of shining off the waxiness of the oil. But I realized when I was finished that, oh, it's plenty dark enough. And this part was fun. I was doing a background without doing any of the blending that I would normally do. I just kind of left it textured and made sure that it stood out more from the blended look of the portrait. So yeah, hope you guys are having a great day, and glad you joined me in this video. And I really just wanted to revisit my oil pastels and share a more traditional approach to using them, I guess. Have a good night.